welcome to the channel, and Bella, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Antony and Cleopatra. I've been to see it at the National Theatre in late December, and in early December I went to see it at my local Odeon Cinema. Now, why would you go and see a play at the cinema, and why would you go and see it at the theatre? And this is basically it. The two lead actors, Ralph Fiennes was excellent, and Sophie Okonedo was equally brilliant in their roles as Antony and Cleopatra respectively. But this review slash video is going to be about what was good about being an audience member and seeing the play at the National Theatre in the Oliver Theatre, which is the one that is like a Greek amphitheatre. So it's like a half circle where the people see it, and then another half circle where the actors play on stage. And then I'm also going to compare that to my experience as an audience member in the Odeon and seeing it. Now, two things. First, in the theatre, I noticed that the seats were closer together. So every time your neighbour rustled or moved or had their phone switched on with their hand over, so you had the light glaring, they were right next to you. You could feel the audience upon you in the theatre. Yes, you were closer to the action because it was all in front of you and you had live action actors, and it was wonderful, and they put on a brilliant performance, and the setting and the costumes and everything was on par. Literally, the lines were beautifully read. It was exquisitely performed. The great amount of emotion, tension, drama, emotional expression, body movements, the whole thing, wonderful. But what was interesting is obviously throughout the play, you're not seeing the actor's face all the time because they're going to turn and face to other parts of the audience because they've got to make sure that everybody has a great experience. So there'll be times you'll see, I was able to see the whole stage and see everybody on it, but they just weren't facing my direction at certain points in the play because they couldn't be, because they were either talking to the audience or they were talking to another character. So you couldn't see that. Whereas in the Odeon, as an audience member, one, it was dark. Two, the other people weren't distracting me because they weren't as close to me, because you had those wonderful cinema arms where you put your lovely juice cups in. You know, it's like, this is mine and this is my space and I'm just going to man spread here, or person spread should be a better term, you know, so that you've actually got that space, so they're not actually in your view or around you, so you've got your own personal space, and you can actually see the whole of the theatre because it's dark, and because they filmed it, you were actually focusing on everybody's face, so when anybody was speaking, the cameras were on them and they were looking at them. And yes, you could still see the other parts of the play, but you never, ever, at any point, didn't see anybody's face. That was the difference between going to see it at the Oliver Theatre, at the National, and at the Odeon. It is a better audience, I think, experience at the cinema. Admittedly, when you go and see a play, you never can guarantee who's going to sit in front of you, and there might be the person with the big head, or the woman with the annoying beret, or the person who has his phone on and his hand over it, who's texting during the first half. Yeah, that happened to me. Luckily, in the second half, he switched it off. Thank God, because I was that close, people, to sort of like saying something or glaring, even though internally I just wanted to punch him, but that's not allowed, you know. I was that close to saying, can you switch your phone off? In that nice, polite British way that people do. Yeah, I know. How annoying is that? Welcome to England. We're so polite, it's ridiculous. So, that's interesting. But from the actor's point of view, Ralph Fiennes and Sophie didn't like it. And you could actually tell that. In the Odeon one, it felt very much more sort of bland, whereas when I went to see the play, it came alive because there was movement and they felt comfortable delivering it. You could tell that they were aware that they were on camera, so they had to watch what they said and did, whereas when they weren't on camera, they were a little bit more sensual, they were a little bit more licensed to be a little bit more theatre-y, whereas in the cinema, you felt that they were conforming to some kind of film censorship stuff, and you can understand that, but it does allow more people to see it. And it is the National Theatre, and the National Theatre has a duty to show its plays to the widest audience as possible. Particularly ones like these, like Antony and Cleopatra. It's a Shakespeare play. It was brilliantly done. I have seen Richard III at the cinema when Ralph Fiennes did that, and that was awesome. And I've also seen Man vs Superman by Bernard Shaw at the cinema, and that was a great way to actually see these plays, because it is difficult to get tickets. I mean, who's got 50 quid? It was 17 quid to go and see it at the cinema. You know, it's no comparison. I mean, one's in London, one's just in my nearest town that has a cinema. Come on, people. I think it does allow more people to see the plays, but another thing is it actually allows that theatre or the company to have a visual record of the plays that they do. So every single play, they've got a back catalogue of it, so that young up-and-coming actors can learn from successful plays that they've actually put on, which I think is really important. It is difficult, and it does put another layer of pressure on actors to be able to do that. But it means, and this is where in the UK we've struggled, is actors within the UK have struggled to actually get TV and film work because they're so used to the stage. When you act on the stage, it is different to acting in film and TV, whereas in doing this in the theatre allows actors to experience a camera, and they've also got to work to the camera as well as working to the audience. Yes, it's two things at the same time. They've got to multitask, but Ralph Fiennes has got enough experience to be able to do that, and so does Sophie. Come on, and so did some other members of the cast. So it wasn't, you know, these are professional people, they know their jobs. Admittedly, it does put that additional pressure on them, and I can see where they're coming from when they say they don't like it. But in the long term, for theatre to be a viable, accessible thing for lots of groups of people, it is going to have to be what it is. And I think this is a great way of doing it. It was interesting to notice the difference, because some of the theatres within the UK are old, but they do need protection. And I'm fully support theatre and supporting it, because I think it's a great medium. It does, things do change when they are performed live. It's like live music. Things feel more real. You can live in that moment is there, and then it's gone and you can't get it back, but you have your memories of it. And I think that's really important, because there were subtle changes between the play I saw in the cinema to the play I actually saw at the theatre. And I think that's great, because it allows the play to develop, get better. Obviously, as a company, they were more gelled because they performed it for longer. Come on, people. I'm not an idiot. I know that sometimes you actually have to sort of like repeat, and it just flows, and you develop that chemistry. That chemistry was excellent, and it just gets better and better and better with every performance. So overall, I would give Antony and Cleopatra a 5 out of 5. It was excellent. Seeing it at the cinema was great, because I got to see every single actor's face, hear the words, see them in a way that you just can't at the theatre, because you are locked into wherever you sit. But admittedly, the Oliver Theatre is really great, because it's an amphitheatre, so you have a great view of the stage wherever you sit, and you don't have any of those annoying pillars in your way. But I did find that the cinema provided a clearer experience, but that's because they've got the ability to zoom in with the cameras, whereas at the theatre you rely on your own eyes to zoom in or to look. Just a subtle difference. So overall, I'm going to give it a 5. It was excellent, and actually having both experience, one in the cinema, one in the theatre, is a great experience, and I'd recommend anybody to actually do it, because it just shows you the difference between the two mediums and how they act and how it affects the company of players. Overall, that's all I've got to say about that. It was a great play. I really enjoyed it. Sorry this review is so late, but actually I'm kind of glad I'm doing it now. Please like, comment and subscribe. Bye!